Hi, I'm Lucas, and this is
Gracie!
And we're LGTV, and we just saw Halloween Kills. Gracie?
I thought it was just called Halloween. That's why I laughed when it said Halloween Kills. I was like, I thought it was just Halloween. I didn't know what it was actually called. I've seen the first one time. Haven't seen the second one. I took in quite a lot when it came to, like, the first movie. The second movie I didn't see. I think it's an instant classic. I think the good thing about it is it's an instant classic. There's nothing really wrong with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's not my favorite horror movie, but I think it's one of the most essential horror movies, where I don't think we would be where we are at with horror without that movie. Like, what stood the test of time is just the timing and the framing of the shots. John Carpenter, the director, made things so unnerving. Everything was just timed so perfectly that it was just eerie. The first one in this trilogy that came out in 2018, I didn't like very much. I thought it was like a perfectly average horror movie. Nothing really stood out. I rewatched it before watching this one, and yeah, and I thought the same feelings. I just thought it was okay. I think some of the tenser moments are executed very well. I think it lacks emotional weight and a story that I haven't seen before.
If I said that didn't give me anxiety, that would be a lie. Like, there were some times nothing was happening, and I was just so tense because I thought something was gonna happen. I'm surprised he still has his hand.
Yeah, there is a lot of scenes where you just grab the crap out of my hand. And, I mean, it didn't hurt, but I was like, holy crap. You got some strength on you, woman. So first off, they start off the film with, like, the sheriff, who kind of has, like, again, like, emotional weight with this trauma. And you don't really know why in that first one that came out in 2018. But then you find out at the beginning of the film that he was one of the cops that was trying to get Michael at the ending of the first one, 78 movie. And he kind of messes up. But, like, that beginning with that was like shots of like kind of the 70s was really cool. So what they do is they add a lot of harsh shadow, which a lot of the 70s movies did, right? They didn't have good camera quality, they didn't have good lighting, and they did it in a really, I thought, masterful way.
I really liked the beginning credit scene with the jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah,
that was cool. That gave me a sense of like, whoa.
Yeah, John Carpenter always
took a
slays
leap back in time
on the soundtrack. He always slays on the soundtrack. And they add a little gospel in the opening credits when it's like panning in with the classic like do 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 do. But then they have like a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns burning, which I think like is supposed to represent the town almost.
Yeah, because there was one death where he put masks on everybody.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like the pumpkin mask and the skeleton. Where did he get those masks? Dead people. See, the thing about this movie that I really liked, or that I didn't like, or it made me uncomfortable, are you supposed to... I don't know how to feel about horror movies. They're very anxiety-driven, but I like the anxiety. Anyway, there was a lot of gore. A lot more gore than I thought there was gonna be. Holy macaroni. That was intense.
The Halloween movies aren't really known for its gore. It's known more for its tension building and atmospheric eeriness.
Gore.
But this one was
so gory.
Like I said, with the Halloween kills, this one really focuses on the kills.
And the gore.
There is a lot of gore. The Halloween movies are not about really the kills a lot of the time. It's a lot about the atmosphere. So a lot of times, there's a lot of characters walking in, seeing a death that had just happened before, set up in a unique fashion to like add a little suspense. But this one shows you how he kind of sets up the kills, which I thought like added into his animal instinct even more. Like seeing like so people would be like still kind of alive and just watching him set up like the older couple.
Is, do animals even do that? Like I've never met or seen or heard of an animal. Okay, a
cat. Come on, I've seen my cat strangled the teddy bears enough to know that.
That is true. Cats are kind of brutal. They torture them and then they kill them. But then usually they eat them or leave them for a present. Oh, I guess what's his face is leaving a present.
Michael Myers is leaving a present. That's what I mean, right? He's
not a werewolf, but he's a werecat. Only on Halloween, his cat-like instincts come out, and he kills things and tortures them and leaves presents.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Oh, I really liked how it really showed the evolution of fear. You know,
yes,
like when they were in the hospital, the townspeople.
Yes.
Like first they were like scared and they were like the fight or flight. So at first they were fight, and now they're fight, and then they go to the hospital, and then they're all like fight, and then.
Which I thought was some, political commentary on how us as North Americans react to stuff like this, and how. How unhinged everyone becomes, that even if it is for a good moral cause, like it was, some people take it too much to the extreme, and then what happens is there's, spoilers, another mental patient that has escaped from the first one, and they think that that guy is Michael Myers, so they all chase him down. They didn't really catch on till later, till Karen, Laurie Strode's daughter, kind of like was like, okay guys, like this isn't him. But it was kind of stupid how she like just walked up to him.
yeah. I was literally I'm like, don't touch him. Don't touch his hand. Don't touch him. Stay away. What are you doing? Here's the thing. Here's my biggest thing with Karen. Oh, Karen. She was so like, I am here to destroy the world. I'm here to fight. Personally, I'd hide.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you running towards danger? Why don't you just let nature take its course? I get...
But that's kind of like the theme of the film, I believe, where the town of Haddonfield should be, right? Should be feared, like they are, they are in fear, but that fear is turning to anger, and instead of hiding away and like storing with their fear, it shows the bad side of kind of confronting your fear. Because sometimes you just accept the fact that you're terrified. But this one, they're all trying to fight the fact that they are terrified to, like, empower, right? Like, oh, let's get them for the town. When, in reality, they should be like, okay, let's call the government.
Yeah.
Those guys killed, like, a whole firefighter squad.
A whole fleet.
I like the character of Haddonfield, where the town kind of felt like a character in itself.
What's the town's name?
Haddonfield.
Haddonfield?
I think so. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'll just edit myself out.
Haddonfield. I had no field. I had it in a field.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But I think they had like a whole character, which a lot of horror movies I don't find do enough, is make you fear for the town. It makes you go on the town side instead of just like, oh, like this is just some random occurrence that's happening tonight. Like, they're all in it together. And it was kind of nice seeing them like that, right? It was kind of nice seeing a horror film where it's not just like one person running around getting chased by this monster the whole night. and people are realizing, like, oh my god, there is a monster, and we need to form together and get rid of this guy.
True, but just a question: would you ever consider living in, a past murderer's house where murders have happened? They knew that it was Michael's house. They're like, oh, you know whose house this is?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Michael's. I'm like, that's not something to brag about.
Speaking of those characters,
spirits. Michael Myers is alive. I would not want it. I would not want to be living in his house and flaunt around the street saying, "Hey, I live in a murderer's house." No. What if he gets out of jail? What if he comes to get you? Why would you live in that house?
So, well, speaking of that house, the characters' names are Little John and Big John.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which was funny
because it was reversed. Because Little John was. If you
notice, they had in the scene where Michael is invading their house, one has a small knife, and that's Little John, and the guy who gets the big knife is Big John. But the problem with that is that it kind of destroys the tension a little bit with them calling Little John, Big John, to make sure each other are okay.
I like that. You know why?
It's cute.
I like it.
It adds character.
I don't care that it's cute. I care that, okay, checking up. Is that door clear? John, clear. John, clear. It's just like a check. If we were going into a haunted house, okay, right? I grab a knife. I don't care if it's big or little. I'd want the big knife. He'd get the little knife. If we're splitting off, you bet your goddamn bottom I'm gonna be going, Lucas.
This movie is directed by David Gordon Green, who directed the last one. Now, do you know who David Gordon Green is?
Nope. The Green Giant. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum.
Do you know the movie Pineapple Express?
Yeah.
With Seth Rogen and James Franco?
Yeah.
That is directed by this same director. Which, if you think about it, is like, oh, really? And this director is mostly known for comedy, and hence why the last two Halloween movies have had kind of a sense of humor, and a pretty good sense of humor, even if it ruins some scenes I find with tension. The comedy is still good, I believe. He is now... I find he's doing a better job directing horror than directing comedy. Pineapple Express was a fine movie. Have you seen the movie?
Half of it. Yeah. You put it on the TV, and I did not watch it.
Yeah, makes sense. It's just a stoner comedy. Yeah. What he likes to do is he likes to grab a lot of real actors, meaning he grabs people off the street and just gives them a role. And he's really known for that. A lot of actors in his movies are people that have never acted before. But he likes that because it adds a sense of realism and groundness to them. Mm-hmm. Right? Because then they don't know how to act, so then he's like, you find a unique character on the street, and you're like, okay, just read this script and act like yourself. Right? Mm-hmm. It works a lot better.
Like the old lady playing with the drone.
There's a lot of good character moments.
Do you think he found her on the street?
And I think that adds
flying her drone.
Like, there's a lot of characters in this film that I'm like, I was kind of upset to see them die, which doesn't happen a lot in horror movies anymore.
A lot of the times in horror movies, I'm like, you deserved everything that came to you.
Yeah, exactly.
You were annoying, and I'm not surprised. But there was like one old couple, and they were just trying to chill out, play with their drones, drink their wine.
Yeah, and they had a little good, I think, her liking the drone.
That made me sad.
It doesn't really...
It made me sad when they broke her little drone.
Yeah. It doesn't bask on it too long to the point where it's like, okay, let's go. It, sits on the characters for just a little bit for you to kind of get a sense of who they are.
I liked her.
And then it adds a lot more tension when you're like, oh shit, is this person gonna die? I kind of like this person.
And when she was still alive, wasn't quite dead yet, and saw her husband being, posed for Jason's little museum of death.
Yeah. Wherever he goes, he just finds a different weapon to kill somebody with.
Yeah. Oh, here's a stick. That's great.
I love how he just never brings a weapon with him either.
And
it seems like a game.
He has no
He's
rush.
like, what weapon can I use this time?
Oh my god. And the stupid kid's like, there's a guy wanting to play hide and seek with us. Look there he is now. And he just is like, he pokes out of the tree. Hello, kids. I'm gonna kill ya. But they didn't kill him. Just the friend. I didn't like that scene. Or I did like that scene. I don't know. It gave me a shiver. I don't know if it was a good shiver or a bad shiver when the lady's like, where's my son? I can't find my son. And during the riot. during the riot.
I got that too.
He like was running, and she looks over, and her son's dead. And you just
I thought that was done really well.
It was just quick zoom of her going.
Yeah, it didn't linger on it too much. It wasn't like, let's play sad piano music as she like falls to the ground crying. It was like
a split second.
It again.
Where you go, crap. That was a mom looking at her son.
Yeah, and it felt real. Yeah.
I didn't like that, or did I? I don't really know. You know, the shivers.
No, again, I think it's
shivers,
a good thing.
I don't know.
I think it
invokes emotion. And
exactly,
that's good.
and I think that's if that's what the director is trying to do, then it's weird knowing that he wrote these movies and how like serious this one is. And this one is a lot darker than that 2018 one I found.
Oh, it was dark as heck.
Like darker as in like there's a lot of messed up.
There's a lot of messed up stuff.
Scenes. Yeah,
a lady gets killed by a light. It's not just knives now. No.
Yeah, I love
Mr. Michael's getting bored of knives. He's going like everything he can find, he will kill you with. He'll poke your eyes out.
I love how
with his thumb.
Yeah, like
I killed a man with this thumb.
I killed a man with this thumb.
Ratatouille.
I am so happy this movie was rated 18. I'm fine with PG-13 horror movies, right? Like, they could be fine, because I find it lets the director focus more on creating a good suspense and tension-filled movie, because they can't rely on gore. This one goes all in with its 18 rating. And I think it fit perfectly. I didn't think it took it too far, where it's like, oh, okay, this is just too much. I don't feel good. It was like
there were some scenes that like gave me that pit of my stomach feeling where I'm like, ugh.
But again,
so that's what organs look like. That's inside my body. Do you ever think about that? Like inside your body, you're just like
when the guy's splatting on the ground.
You're just in real life, you're just a meat package full of bones and organs running. Isn't that the creepiest thing you've ever heard? Your eyes have veins, and it connects to your brain, and then your brain connects to every single part of your body, and it makes decisions off of chemical reactions. Every decision you make is chemical.
Yeah,
we're a social experiment. How is my brain doing this? You know, it's when I watch horror movies, I'm reminded that I'm just like a sack of meat with bones. Because when they break the bones of the characters, I'm like, crap, that's inside my body right now. That could happen to me. I have a wrist bone. I have a large intestine. Is that really what it looks like if it just decided to fly out? You know? It was a reminder.
The last 20 minutes got to a point where it was too stupid.
Oh, that stupid man wouldn't die. Okay,
I'm fine having this film being kind of dumb. It's a horror movie, and I think it does a good job mostly of being like a blockbuster horror movie to watch while you're eating popcorn in the theater. But I think it takes it too far at the ending, where character decisions are like really weird.
Yeah.
Like, and the editing felt off at the last couple minutes. Did you feel that? I felt it felt like they were rushing. They're like, oh yeah, we have to set up the next movie.
I felt that in the last
chop it right up.
The last two scenes were a little bit unnecessary. They could have just left that there,
weird.
Killed Mr. Murder Man. Because that guy wouldn't die. Okay, I get it. He's a cat human. I get it. Like,
but it took it too far where it's like okay, like...
They stabbed him, and they shot him, and he got stabbed in the neck, and then he got stabbed in the back, and then he got beat up, and magically he's fine.
I thought it was cool seeing, like, a mob beat up Michael Myers. And that was pretty cool, right? Like, I thought that was kind of cool. And I think it should have ended with him being on the ground.
Yeah, that would have been a better setup for a sequel.
It's a middle movie. It's a movie setting up the final in the trilogy. But it felt like they didn't know whether to keep that ending for the beginning of the next film, or keep it in the ending of this one.
I didn't like the last scene.
They killed off a couple major characters, but there was no emotional weight to it because it just happened. And everything in the ending just felt like it was just happening.
I don't like the last scene. The last scene was unnecessary.
Yeah. And, like, then him teleporting where Karen is and killing her. I was like, I feel like I should be more emotionally invested in this, but it felt off. It felt like they're just rushing it. They're like, okay, we gotta get people invested for the next film, so let's just start doing.
So let's kill our main character.
Yes, which I found strange because like I said, the movie's kind of. I mean, it's dumb. It's a dumb blockbuster, but I think it was doing it in a clever way. But I found right after the mob scene, it started going downhill. Because then I'm like, okay, these people are all going around trying to find him, right? But it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you should know that if you go in alone in this house, like one of the kids from the first Halloween movie really wants to get him, right? And he knows, he's seen all these people that have been trying to kill him all night. And yet he still goes in, which I mean, I get it. He thinks he's the one. I get it, he thinks he's the one, but I don't think it developed his character enough where it earned him doing that. I was like, okay,
it was just,
please, can you just like show a scene where
stupid.
they try to call the cops and the cops are like either resilient to them or they don't show up in time. No, they just keep going into these places empty-handed. He shows up with a pistol and he's seen what is happening around the town. They show up to a bunch of crime scenes and he should know, okay,
this guy
is real.
Can take out a fleet.
And then he just dies in the house. And I'm like, okay, it could have been, his son could have came in and saw that happening, add some more emotional weight. But again, it felt super rushed where he knows his dad dies, and then he dies. And I'm like,
his death was a little drawn out, though.
Which was, I mean, I get it, like, they were like...
it was kind of fun.
I thought it was cool, but, I mean, those characters should have been dealt with more of an emotional way.
Because those were, like, some of our main characters who we've seen for, like, the very, very beginning. It's
which,
like,
if you've seen... Yeah, again, if you've been watching all these Halloween movies, not counting, 10 sequels and another remake, you'll like what they do with the original characters up to the ending again. Because, again, they just... Some of them feel killed off in just unnecessary ways. Where it was, like... Again, with the kills at the ending, they're really shoddy. And you don't get a sense of what's going on, right? Because he gets up, they're surrounded by a bunch of ambulances, and he just gets up and chops a bunch of people up. But you don't see what's actually happening with, like, the scale on the street. All you see is these close-ups of him killing these guys.
Mm-hmm. I really liked what they did in the beginning with the firefighters. Where he'd kill a guy, and then you'd go, boom, boom, and you'd be, like, in the mask of the firefighter.
Which was cool shots. And again, that's good to do if you have a bunch of random kind of characters that they do, again, like, set up them being kind of likable, and you kind of feel bad that they die, but they're not the main emotional weight of the film.
And our main emotional weight was killed in a stupid, like, flash shot like that. Yeah. Like Pedro, like our best friend Pedro, the one who's lived, and our neighbor.
How did he just get up there at the ending?
He just died. Surprise! Like, no time to mourn it. Just.
And again, how did he get up there without, like, anyone warning Karen about him being up there? So she's standing at the window, like they bring up multiple times in the film, like that he would do, and look at his reflection, and I think she's trying to feel what he's feeling. All of a sudden, he just teleports there without anybody telling her.
Dr. Strange, made a portal. Strange. How did he get there so fast? And how did no one notice him getting there? Because there were cops everywhere. Was there, like, an underground tunnel?
I can handle those little nitpicky things, but then again, it gets to a point where if the story's not strong enough, you get distracted by it.
But it was the main character. The main character death was just the little, teleportation, surprise, that's it.
I didn't know if you felt the same way I felt about the last couple minutes of the film.
No, I totally did.
Okay.
I totally did. I'm like, why?
If you haven't seen the past movies, I think you can handle this.
You can watch it. You can watch it. I didn't watch the second movie, and I was totally, like, filled in. But it wasn't filled in like, a stupid way. It was, you were explaining,
I kept up on my research. I made sure to, like, check it out before seeing this one.
And I didn't.
And I thought...
I went in blind.
You did. As you usually do with my films.
And I came out full of vision.
Yeah, and I thought that, again, with the first good hour and a half, it's really, like, tightly paced.
It's tightly paced, and I jumped.
Feel like
I jumped.
Yeah.
Like, 5 times, and I'm like, I'm okay. Don't mind me.
Big critique, Jamie Lee Curtis isn't in the film enough. I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
This lady, she's like Michael. She can't die.
Yeah.
She got cut open. She got into surgery. She got out of surgery. She found out that Michael was alive and that she didn't kill him. Then she took a shot of what seemed to be morphine. She went, joined a riot, fell over, got trampled, opened her stitches, went back to bed. I don't remember what else happened to her, but she can't die. Apparently she has, like, so much blood in her body. A will to live.
I thought it was pretty funny. So, in that scene where she...
Imagine if she's Michael's sister. Reincarnated.
You don't even understand. That's so
funny.
What
if Michael actually didn't kill his sister?
You don't understand. In the original timeline, that was a plot.
Really?
In the second one, the twist in the second one is that she's Michael's long-lost sister. And that's why he's chasing her. But, as most fans of the series...
That's why she can't die.
I'm more of a fan of how everything is just coincidence. And a lot of that is... I kind of like that in the film, how they kind of critique that. They're like, some of them believe that he has a set path and there's a reason why he's doing this.
She thought she was special.
But some of them are like, no, he's just doing it because he's just a cold-blooded killer. And I am part of the people that I like to stick with him. And I think it's more terrifying that he just ends up finding Laurie Strode. Right? Like, I think that's just, like... I think that's a little bit creepier, and I think that makes sense more with his character and how he's just on a set killing spree.
He's like the person who walks around your neighborhood who knows everybody's names. Oh, hi, Jeff. Oh, hi, Frank. But you kill him. Just walking down the street. I don't like you. You have a bad haircut today. Oh, you smell bad, B.O.
I was really impressed with, like, a good chunk of the film. Because it doesn't focus too much on story, but I was fine with that. I'm like, I just, like, it knew what it was. It knew it was the second film.
You go to a horror movie to expect to see a horror movie. You don't go to see a meta-drama.
Yeah. I thought they really handled it really well with making this one the second one and setting up the third one. Because I'm even though the ending was a little choppy, I'm still going to see it. Well, this, So, this one's kind of part of, like, a trilogy starting from the 2018 one, which is also called Halloween. That's, like, a sequel to the 1978 Halloween. But this one's a sequel to that. But this is, like, counting as, like, a trilogy. This is, like, the final Halloween trilogy. So the next one's called Halloween Ends. So it goes Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. And it's all...
stomach rumble?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was, like, a TV downstairs.
No, that was me.
And it all starts from the 78 one, which is also called Halloween.
It should be like Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Slays, Halloween Murders, Halloween disposes of bodies in violent ways. I love a good one and done movie. Like, you only need one and you're done with it.
Like...
I like it.
I can see why they did this, but, I mean, we'll have to see on how the third one really concludes this all. I like to look at the reviews before seeing a movie, and... Stop making...
It's so loud! She's hungry.
There's popcorn! Yeah. One of the critiques about this one, surprise, surprise, is the gore.
Gore.
There's a lot of it.
Right. But it's like...
I strategically drank my Sprite on parts that I knew wasn't gonna be like...
Yeah, there was some
gory.
liquidy blood.
Yeah, I was like, is this really Sprite?
But like, I don't know, you're going into an 18 movie, it says on the rating system that there's violence and gore in the film. What did you expect to see with an 18 rated film?
Flowers, petals, no gore, and no violence.
Yeah.
People are saying that this feels like an incomplete movie. Well, yeah, no, duh. It's a second movie. It's the setup. And, I mean, I get that if you don't know going in that you might feel incomplete. But, I mean, of course it's going to be kind of incomplete. Right? It's supposed to like end it off.
It's like the Twilight movies. You don't feel complete after New Moon, so Eclipse comes, and you don't feel complete after Eclipse. You go Breaking Down Part 1, and when you don't feel complete in Breaking Down Part 1, you go to Breaking Down Part 2, and then when you don't feel complete about Breaking Down Part 2, well, it's too bad because that's the end of the books, and that's the end of the movies.
A lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it, and a lot of people think it's fine. And
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it could have been one of the better horror movies that came out if it wasn't for, like, if it ended off stronger and set it up a little bit better. I can understand some criticism not liking it, but if you're going to critique it on the gore, like, come on. Like,
there's a lot of it.
Yeah, come on. And if you're critiquing on it, it doesn't feel complete, then, yeah, no, duh, it's not supposed to be a complete movie. It's like saying Empire Strikes Back is a not complete movie.
True. I agree. Something to actually kill. What's his name? Mason? What's his name? I keep wanting to say Jason. Michael.
Yeah, you do call him Jason. I remember driving there, you're like, yeah, I remember that movie, the one with Jason.
Jason.
I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Jason or Mason or what's his name?
Michael Myers.
I hope they kill Michael Myers. I just want to, like, he needs to die. Make sense. He needs to die. And like, he's not immortal. He's a human. Yes, he's a psychopath and may not feel things the same as humans, but his he's still a sack of meat with bones inside of him, you know? Coming back to that subject,
with them setting up at the Halloween ends already, like, it kind of eliminates a little bit of tension on, like, oh, how are they gonna solve it by the end of the film? And it's like, it kind of destroys a little bit of the tension. Because you're like, you know that it's not gonna end perfectly. You know he's gonna survive. Right?
What?
Because Halloween Ends is already confirmed. They've already confirmed.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about Halloween Ends and, like, Halloween ends and Halloween Ends again and Jason is back. No,
what
Michael
are you talking about?
I'm just talking about more sequels. They need to kill this man.
Go see this in a movie theater.
I agree.
I mean,
with a friend.
I'm a big fan of going to see the movies in theaters. A good experience with a film. It forces you to sit down and watch, and I think it makes it more worthy for criticism. Because I find anything you pay for is worthy for criticism, right? I'm paying $20 to go see a movie. I think I can give it as much criticism as I deserve, as much as anyone else does.
Only $20 worth. You're hitting that. You're at like.
Yeah, I won't cause a riot for it.
$19.94 right now. You only have 5 cents left, sir. Or no, 6.
This is because it's on streaming service right now. But I feel like I would not be engaged if I watched it on.
It forces you to sit on your butt and not look at anything and not hear anything. It just makes you just.
Which, again, helps with critiquing a film, because then you can understand when a movie's really bad and when it's good and when it's meh, because you just have to sit there. You can't look at your phone, or you get someone like me who's going to punch you in the face.
Don't look at me, I turn my phone right off.
No, I'm just, like, saying, like, I'll give you that Karen look. I'll be like...
Boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo! You fuck off!
Not helping.
Excuse me?
I want the manager of the airport here!
I still remember I saw Avengers Infinity War and Thanos does the snap.
You should have gone for the head.
Silence. All you hear is a the guy beside me picks up his phone, and I just looked at him, I looked across, I'm like, could you fucking not right now? My little brother was with me too, and I looked over, and my brother after the movie was like, so embarrassed. He's like,
that sounds embarrassing. That sounds not nice.
I like to think that I'm
I mean, at least it was vibrate and it wasn't like playing like a Katy Perry song in the middle of it.
God.
That could have been worse. You know what? Maybe he meant to push silent, but he accidentally put vibrate. You know, I'm a little bit more forgiving. This guy is just like, you disturbed my movie. I paid $20 for it. You owe me $10 because you took away $10 of experience.
I'm gonna sue you.
You should have gone for the head.
think it's a pretty fun movie. It's a pretty fun horror movie that I think does a lot of things right.
If you're squeamish with bodily functions, wouldn't recommend. Because it'll remind you that you're just a meat sack.
I think it could have almost been rewatchable. I would have loved to rewatch this movie on Halloween nights, but I don't know, just the way it concludes and the way it ends.
The conclusion ended. Ruined it for me.
Yeah, it makes it not sit as well with you. It's like, because it's almost frustrating. You're like, you were so close. You had me, and then I forgave you for those stupid stuff, but now I'm like, yeah. Now I think it's a little bit more worthy of criticism on how it ends.
I wouldn't watch it in my free time on my own TV.
I mean, you don't watch a lot of horror movies on your free time anyways.
Yeah, because I'm alone. I don't like to watch horror movies by myself. I find that traumatizing. I'm going to give it a 5.6.
Out of 10? Mm-hmm. Wow. That's really specific for you. Like, usually you're never in the middle like that.
Yeah.
Are you just doing that because I've talked to you about how much you don't use the 5 and 6 out of the 10?
Maybe. But I do believe that this movie, around a 5.5, 5.6 for me, it was meh. Wouldn't watch it again in my free time with friends.
This is going to be funny. So...
You're going to give it like a flippin' 8.
No.
You're going to give it a 2.
No.
You're going to give it a 7.8.9. 3.14.
I think it's a 6.3. 6.3.
I rated it lower than you.
Yeah. And you got actually scared. I mean, it's hard for me to really critique horror films too badly because I don't get scared.
I'm just jumpy. I'm jumpy as heck.
I think I jumped once. Which is a lot more than most horror films. You jumped a fair bit, which, yeah, huh.
But I'm jumpy. I'm a jumpy person. We'll be watching, like, The Lion King, and then, like, the baboon guy will be like, surprised, and I'm like...
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant!
I came out of nowhere. Holy moly.
Yeah, I think this one does... I think it's a lot more entertaining and enjoyable than the last movie. Now, the last movie has a lot better reviews and a lot better critical scores from other people.
But it also has more time.
But, I don't know, I think this one just was a lot more engaging and did a lot more with the source material. And I was kind of shocked on how well the horror scenes lived up for a slasher film. It's really hard for, I think, a slasher film now to actually be terrifying. When you tell the people what they gotta do at the end of this video.
Like and subscribe and comment your thoughts. Yeah.
All right.